For those of you just tuning in, I'll be taking off in about 10 minutes. I'm waiting to see if anybody joins the flight, because I did set it up as a group flight. Should be using my new mic now, so hopefully I sound good. I don't have any way to test it while I'm live. Well, I guess I could theoretically bring it up on my laptop. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Oh, good, thank you. I'll begin my taxi in about another 5 minutes or so. I did publish it as a group flight in one of my flight groups, so I want to give people a chance to join if they're going to. Right now it does not look like we'll have any joiners. So that will make it a solo flight. I'm going to move my laptop so I can see what you all write in the chat, so that I will be able to theoretically look over and answer any questions you might have. Otherwise, it'll just be me babbling. And I realize that the format of my screen probably isn't ideal for a lot of people viewing, and I would apologize, but honestly, this is the way I fly because it's better for me as a sim pilot to have the wide screen. So I'm not going to make any excuses. It's just the way it is, and hopefully it works on whatever screen you're watching on. Give you a little outside view of the plane here before we go. This is a 172 Cessna. Pretty popular private plane. I believe it's the #1 selling aircraft in the world. I do use the autopilot assist for my checklists because I'm too lazy. I can go anywhere in the world. The sim has the entire planet with over 37,000 airports. And it uses photorealistic scenery from satellite and aerial imagery now. So it does a really good job on a lot of the scenery. I remember you saying that your brother worked for ATC. I didn't know he worked at the school. I actually landed at Oklahoma City yesterday or the day before. I think it was the day before in the evening I flew up from Denton. In the sim, of course. I did go for one flight lesson back in 2008 and realized that I don't have the stomach for small planes, so I never pursued getting my private license. So simulated is all I do, and I've been doing it since 1984. Jen, I actually landed at Rogers, at Will Rogers. But I have landed at the OU airport a few times too. It's nicer and easier to land at because it's small. Smaller airports tend to be a lot easier in a small plane like this. I'm just pre-doing my checklists here so that when the time comes I can just taxi and go, which I'm now ready to do. And it does not look like we've got anybody joining us. Usually somebody would have chimed in by now and said, hey, I'm loading in, wait for me. Since nobody's done that, I'm going to start my taxi. We'll be taking off on runway 32 today. That's a roughly northwestern facing runway. We'll fly out, we'll get up to about 1,500 feet, so it's going to be a low flight. And then we're going to fly down over the Chesapeake Bay. We'll fly over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it's a 13-mile, I think, long tunnel. It has or bridge. It has a curve in the middle of it, and it's got two tunnels where the bridge actually goes underwater and then comes back up, which is pretty cool. Jen, there's actually an airport in Norman too, you know. It's at OU, airport code OUN, KOUN. All right, we are ready for takeoff. So, Ocean City traffic, Cessna, November 41316. Taking off runway 32, departure to the south. Ocean City traffic. Throttle up. Airspeed active. 40 knots. Rotate. Positive rate. I am a big fan of work smarter, not harder, so I do use the autopilot a lot. I know some people think that's a cheap way to go, but it's what works for me. I'm going to set a climb out at 90 knots. Should give us a climb rate of around 1,000 feet per minute. We just cleared 350. Looks like some farmland there off to the side. There's Ocean City off to our right. We'll actually swing. Actually, we're going to be swinging to the left today. I'm going to wait till I get to 1,000 feet, and then I'll start my maneuvering. And I do have a course pre-programmed, but I may divert from it if something tickles my fancy. we're going to start a turn to the left now. We're going to turn to heading 225, and we'll go a little beyond that, and we'll come back and pick up the purple line, which is our course line over here on the map. You can see we're going to go down the coast here. We'll cross where the Bay Bridge is. We'll fly over Norfolk Airport, and then we'll head out to the coast over Virginia Beach and head down the coast into North Carolina. I don't think I've ever landed at first flight before, so that'll be a first for me at first flight. There's Ocean City off to our left. That looks like some kind of little park or something down there. Maybe like a water park or a racetrack, maybe for karts. That's mostly Delaware off to that side. Give you some exterior view here. I am using real-world weather, so this is relatively accurate to the actual weather in this location. It downloads it as I fly and applies it to the environment. Here's a golf course. A couple of golf courses. You got one on the left here and then this bigger one on the right. That little hill there, those hills there are glitches. There are some glitches with the way it handles certain bodies of water. The map data gets confused, and sometimes the rivers or ponds or things like that will project up. Unfortunately, it's one of those things we just have to live with in the sim. But overall, it does an amazing job. Bet those are some expensive homes down there, huh? Right on the water, with their own docks. Alright, let's get back inside. So we've got about a 30-minute flight down the coast here. It's going to be pretty quiet for about the next 30 minutes. Yeah, Jen, I could probably, if I put effort to it, since I know where you live, I could probably find your house on the sim if I flew over that part of Norman and looked around. I found my house. I found the house I grew up in. I found a lot of familiar landmarks and places that I know. It's pretty cool to do that, to fly places and see things that you know. I wasn't actually going to stream, but then somebody mentioned it to me the other day in chat, somebody who's in here, and I said, well, you know, we'll do that. And yes, Jen, that's game time. Everything's in real time here. If you look over here, where I'm pointing, it says ETE. That's my time to my next waypoint. That's when we'll start our turn. So we're talking about good 30-32 minutes just to get to the bridge, and then we'll follow the bridge across, and then we'll get to something more exciting. And the only reason I started this far back, if you're wondering, is this is where I left off on my last group flight, and I try to continue where I left off just for continuity's sake, because I'm a little bit OCD that way. So when I fly real time. If I decided to fly New York to LA, it would be 6 hours in the plane. But I go do other things while it's flying once I set the autopilot on really long flights like that. It is very relaxing to me to do this. I know other people are like, oh, it seems boring. Well, we each have our own thing. Certain things are enjoyable by different people. Outside temperature is freezing, literally 0 Celsius right now where I'm flying. Keep in mind I am 1,500 feet up, but that's pretty close to what it would be at ground level too. So the one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't depict snow in winter conditions quite fully yet. It will do snow if it's recently snowed in an area and it's still overcast, or there's snow in the forecast on the ground, it'll show it. But like this area shouldn't be as green as it is this time of year. There's no way it should be, but it is. It's just they're working on it and improving it constantly. Hey, TUK. Come back a little on the throttle so we're not in the yellow. Usually run at about 75% throttle. On a flight this short, I'm not that concerned about fuel, so give it a little extra push there. This low altitude mixture isn't going to make much of a difference. Jen, did you get tested yet, or do you still Ooh. So we're covered 119 knots ground speed right now. We've got a slight, well, pretty good crosswind actually, 15 knots. Yeah, with my screen ratio, it's probably a lot better on your TV versus on a smaller screen. I'm yawning again. Must be close to nap time. Yeah, TUK. I have a 43-inch ultra wide. It's 3840 by 1200 resolution. So it's almost the same pixels as a 4K. It's just spread out differently. Goober Monster's visiting me. Hey, Goopy Goo. Hey, buddy. You want to be on my lap? Yeah. He's such a good boy. Now I have 12 pounds of goober on my lap. Yep, my orange boy. Yeah, I had a 28-inch 4K before, and in some ways I liked it better, but when it comes to things like flying or driving trucks or whatever, I really like the wide aspect ratio. For streaming, a standard ratio would be better. Like a normal 16 by 9. This is 32:10, is the ratio on this. Which is why it's got big black bars top and bottom when I stream. Hey, hey, hey! He started chewing on the wires to my headset, so he had to go. No. These headset, it's a $100 headset. You're not chewing on the wires. Yeah, this is the 172 with G1000. I went back to a wired headset gen because my wireless ones, I was having a lot of people complaining that they were choppy or they couldn't hear me or whatever. So I literally Googled what are the best wired headsets for flight sim, and that's what I bought. So I like the TBM a lot too, Tay. TBM is definitely in my... I have 5 planes I fly, I think. The 172, the TBM, the Bonanza, the Baron, and the Longitude. Oh, and the Caravan, so 6. Jen, I use them anytime I'm going to do anything where I need a headset, basically, at this point. I don't fly with a headset or drive with a headset unless I'm streaming or doing some sort of live event thing. Because I don't like wearing the headset. I really don't like having a headset on, but it's what I have to do when I want to talk to people and have it not echo and have good sound quality. And these are really good. They're the Alpha S. I forget what the brand is. But if you look up Alpha S headset, it's those. So the bone conduction, those are the ones that like sit on your cheekbone or whatever? Is that right? Because I can't do anything that goes in the ear, because I already have something in my ears. I don't know if the bone conduction would work well though with my hearing aids. I would think that would be a problem. Yeah, I have a feeling it would negate my hearing aids and make them... I don't know. I don't really have a problem with over-ear headsets. I'm not going to wear it unless I have a reason to, is what it comes down to. If I'm doing something where I need to have it on for audio reasons, then I wear it. I wear a headset if I go for a walk. I wear a headset to play audiobooks or music. I just don't. I don't wear it if I don't have to. I don't like being tethered either. It really bothers me to have the wire tethering me to the desk. Yeah, I don't want to hear people or things around me when I'm walking, Jen. What's the worst that could happen? Somebody runs me over? Oh well. They've got insurance. Got some nice beach down there. Generic buildings that are generated. That looks like a construction site. Yeah, in my office/game room where I fly and stuff, I sit with my back to a wall, so nobody's going to sneak up on me in here. The only points of entry are directly in front of me, so I don't really have that problem. But if I'm out for a walk, yeah, I guess somebody could sneak up behind me. Oh well. I've done it that way for a very long time, and it's the way I like it. It's what works for me. So we're about 20 minutes from the bridges, just so you know. Yeah, I can't wear earbuds because of my hearing aids. And I never liked anything in my ears anyway. It took me a lot to get used to the hearing aids actually. When I got them about 2 years ago. But the fact that now I can hear better and I don't have tinnitus nearly as bad is well worth having them. Just looking around. Yeah, I guess if I still rode motorcycles, I would, I'd have to do something different, but I don't anymore. I stopped about almost 30 years ago. I'm still licensed. I just don't ride. Heck, and now I don't even hardly drive anymore. Since I started working at home in mid-2019, I just don't drive anymore. I don't go anywhere. Good example. I'm going to need gas sometime in February, and it'll be the 4th time I've gotten gas since the beginning of March for my car. And I go about 440, 450 miles on 10 gallons of gas, so I get about 45, 46 miles at a gallon. So I'm talking about $17, $18 to fill the car each time. So less than $100 in gas in a year. Just don't go anywhere. Plus, with the car being a hybrid, it's nice because I can run it. It runs electric a lot of times when I'm driving around the city. So. Hey, the surf looks pretty good down there. They did a decent job on that. I hadn't really looked at any surf before. It looks like the water's got some foam on it there for surf. That's good. And that's all swampy marsh down there. Yeah, I got the hybrid in June of 2019, Jen. I've had it a year and a half, almost. I've had a year and a half as of a couple days ago, and I've put less than 11,000 miles on it in a year and a half. And I think I'll do a hybrid again. I think I'm actually going to look at the new CRV hybrid next time, because I'd like to get something that's a little more up off the ground. It probably does still smell new. I wouldn't notice. It just got its second oil change. Yeah, the hybrid CRV Touring, which is the best one, is about 37,000. But they have the EX is only like 31, and that's not too bad. I think that's what I would probably do as an EX. Although with me leasing, it probably wouldn't be too bad. The payment would be nice and low. And if I don't do that, then I'm thinking about a Mustang convertible instead. Because I've always wanted one and I've never had one. Yeah, I always set my cruise. I set it literally at speed limit or speed limit plus 5. Otherwise, I do 15 miles an hour over the limit everywhere. The Mustang might be a little bit loud. It's certainly louder than my hybrid. And because I want the convertible, it'd be a little bit more expensive than what the other vehicles I've been looking at are. But maybe I'll just buy it outright and keep it, because now that I drive so little, I don't really care about trading cars often like I used to. I think the next car I buy might be the last one I ever buy. I do have to have a certain level package because it's got to have certain things like Android Auto. If it doesn't have Android Auto, it's not. I can't buy it. I can't buy a car without it. The HRV I looked at, it is smaller, but it's not as. I didn't like it as well. It feels. I don't know, it felt cheaper when I looked at them, and they don't make a hybrid HRV. And if I'm going to stick with Honda, I'm going to probably go with another hybrid. So. Plus the new CRV has some nice wood trim on the inside. It's just nice looking. It's very nice looking if you go to the EX or the Touring. I think I need the Touring though because I think that's the only way I get seat ventilated seats, which is something I would want if I'm going to have leather seats. I want them ventilated. So yeah, we burnt almost 10 minutes. We're down to 12 minutes before we hit the fun stuff. Maybe they are doing an HRV hybrid now. They didn't have it on the books the last I knew. I could be wrong. But if I'm going to go SUV, the other thing is the HRV sits lower, and if I'm going to go to an SUV type vehicle, I want it because I want it to sit high. That's really the only reason, because I have no use for it. I have no use for the extra size or anything like that. Since 99.8% of the time I'm in a car, I'm alone. And the rest of the time it's just me and Melissa. Not from the factory. There may be an aftermarket air suspension option. I don't know. Alright, we're getting close. Melissa does that already with her Tucson. I don't need to. She hauls the kittens. That's her gig. Oh, both Goober and Vader are on the tree in the window watching me. Oh, that looks like another glitch. It's definitely not hills here. You mean, why did we keep him? Well, we had just lost Haley a month and a half before, so we had a vacancy. And we like having 4 cats of our own, so when it came time for that batch of kittens to get fostered out, he didn't go with them. He's 10 and a half months old and he's 12 pounds. Big boy. Tay, just so you know what we're talking about, my wife and I, well, primarily her, foster kittens for the local shelter. And they are viewable online. She has a YouTube. I believe I got the URL right. That should be it. Alright. I've been flying faster planes lately. This one feels a lot slower. Yeah, it's okay to be a dog person. I won't hold it against you too much. Dogs are fine. I just would never want to have to take care of one. I don't want something that I gotta walk in and scoop up its poop into a bag. Because people are jerks, Jen. So I calculated the angle, so this should take us pretty much right over where we want to be. When we get to that waypoint there called Elmer, which I don't think has anything to do with glue or quasi-wabbits. It is a coronavirus. She has a coronavirus plushie for the kittens. I mean, Jen, you know who I live with. Do you think if there's a virus or a germ or a cell of some sort that she can get as a toy, she's not going to? She's a biologist, biochemist. Jen, did you finally get your fiber upgrade? I'll take that as a no. It was a reasonable question. What were you on before? Oh, you were on a DSL before, right? Yeah. And now you're on cable coax, which, it's better than DSL. I will give you that. I gotta have my fiber though. I could never, ever, ever go back to cable or DSL or anything like that. That's true, Jen. Versus me, home and working full time, Melissa home and working full time, plus a 24/7 cat stream running, and 10 Google Homes and Nest cameras and streaming TVs and streaming music. And so, yeah, I guess we're probably have a higher bandwidth need than most people. Yeah, they're good at hiding. They're really good at evasion. All right, I am going to disengage autopilot now. And we're going to swing to the east, and we're going to follow this roadway right below us here. Airs are getting a little choppy here. We have a 21 knot tailwind. That's probably partly why. And I think I'll fly off to the side of the bridge so that you guys can see it. You can kind of see it starting to form up there up ahead, I believe. It's a really, really cool bridge, Jen. I think you said, Jen, you've been over it, right? I've been over it 2 or 3 times now. One of the times I went under one of the tunnels, an aircraft carrier was going over the tunnel at the same time. It had to be coming out of the Norfolk Navy Yards, which of course are right there. So that is US Route 13. And it hops over to that little island. And then I'm going to bank us a little bit to the right here. You can see the dual bridges heading out. And if you look, there's 2 little islands out there. Those are the first set of tunnels. Or that's the first tunnel. At about our 1 o'clock right now. And what we'll do is we'll cross over it and then cross back midway. This is the scenic part of this jaunt we're doing. I'm going to try to get back into doing this once every Saturday, same time. And if I do, and I can keep on track, sometime, I'm going to say about 3 weeks from now, we should be around the Space Coast in Florida. Assuming I continue down the coast. I haven't decided yet. I might cut inland to the mountains, which would add a little bit of time to it. There's a pretty good view of the bridges right there. There we go. Pretty good view of the bridge from this angle. nose down a little bit. I'm starting to climb. So one of these, and I think it's the southernmost one, which is pretty much straight ahead of us now, has like a little diner and gift shop and things. Yeah, Jen, if I remember correctly, it's 13 miles, but I could be wrong. I might have that number wrong. It's US 13, so I could be making a mistake, confusing the two numbers. But I seem to recall reading or being told it was a 13-mile stretch. And like I say, it's pretty amazing to go under there and know that, you know, battleships and aircraft carriers and things are going over it, sometimes at the same time. It was neat to be able to say I've literally driven under an aircraft carrier. Nuclear aircraft carrier. Most of the Norfolk Navy yards are off here to the right, and we won't be going that far inland. But we should see some of it as we head over the bay over here, and then we'll be heading along the coastline. You guys can't see it, but I have a window up with my course plot on it. Let's bank a little bit to the right here. Come a little more left. I'm going to do it with autopilot though. Be lazy. Yeah, Jen, I think Tay is flying as well. A little bit of turbulence there, knocking us around. Alright, so we're, I'm going to put us back on our pre-programmed course, so we're going to bank a little bit here. And that's going to swing us around that bay to our left, and then over toward the coast. Oh, so it was Jen's fault. She burped and caused us to jump up 200 feet. Usually it's a fart that I do that does that, but... Oh, look, there's somebody in a yacht out there. The water is really good. I have not really looked at the water that much up close like this. They did a really nice job with that. So you can see there's a ship there in the Navy Yard. And again, this is not hand rendered, so it's satellite imagery and the computer's extrapolating what it should look like, so it's not perfect. But it's not too bad, actually. That is Norfolk International Airport right there. Here we go, starting our bank back to the coast. Bye, Tay. Thank you for joining us. That looks like a trailer park down there. Or manufactured home housing. I was flying over South Florida earlier near Fort Lauderdale, and it is so crowded. It was just, things were so packed together. It was something. A couple of windmills up ahead we'll be going over. Probably a little lower than we should, but oh well. I was in Virginia Beach. When was I there? 1994. April of 1994 I went to Virginia Beach. And I stayed in a hotel. It's got to be right up one of these buildings right along here. I'm going to say it's that one or the one just over there. Hmm. 23-knot crosswind. Look at this plane. Look how much we're crabbing. Wow. That's tough. That'll be a tailwind once we turn south, though. I am not going to try to fly into a windmill. I have precious cargo on board. I'm hauling junk mail today. To the side for a few minutes here. That looks like these look like quite the estates down here, huh? That one and that one. Not just mail, junk mail, specifically. No, I'm just switching views, Jen. I have a control that allows me to pan the view. It just does it really quick when I use that control. That's a park. That's First Landing Park, I believe. First Landing State Park. And then that's Virginia Beach proper over there. We'll be flying right along that coastline. Start a bank to the right in about a minute. Reddish water? I didn't see reddish water. I must have missed it. Yeah, I have it set so that I have AI traffic turned on, and what AI traffic does is it uses if you've ever seen the website FlightAware, it shows you where all the airplanes are basically in the world. It uses that data to generate traffic, plus any other players that are playing in the world linked to the same server I'm on, which is the USA West server. They'll show up. So yes, I do see other planes, usually when I'm near airports. It's very rare that I would encounter another plane out and about like this, but it's happened. We've been on group flights before and had people just randomly join us, which is kind of fun. There we go, fly right down the beaches. And no, I'm not going to land on the beach. So I'm going to do a top-down view in a minute here. I think, if this is what I think it is. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. There used to be a go-kart track here somewhere. One of those little race tracks for karts. And I've been to it, and I wanted to do a top-down if I see it when we fly over. But again, that was 26 years ago, so it may not be there anymore. 27 years ago. Yeah, it's either not there or I'm just not seeing it. No big. Yes, it will let me land on the beach. I can even land on frozen ponds and lakes, apparently. I've never tried it, but apparently you can. And if you've got an amphibious plane, you can land in the water. Mine is not amphibious. Alright, we are gonna fly down along the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I believe that's what these are called. And then we'll be landing. Probably about another 30 minutes in this flight, I'm gonna guess. Maybe a little more. Although we just picked up that good tailwind again. to nap after this. We are currently about, we're about a half hour or so. We're about 50 miles from our destination, 50 nautical miles. It's only 41 degrees at our landing location. Wow. We'll be landing runway 3, it looks like, which means we'll have to circle and come back, which is good. That'll give us a nice view of the area. I'm going to look at some presets now to set us up for that landing. Yeah, we'll do OXSIP. So I'm going to pre-program the RNAV for the approach. RNAV 3 for OXSIP. Activate. And activate. There we go. And that'll get us lined right up for the approach when the time comes. Yeah, both my boys in here have fallen asleep. She probably would hiss at me, and bite me, and your cat's mean. Jen, your cat is a mean cat. It is pretty common, pretty chill. Oh, we have a thing for treats too. It's a tower though, and the cats have to bat at it, and the treats fall down out of it. Goober likes it. Oh, how much further? We'll start our maneuvers in a minute. You can see that little hooky hook on the flight plan there. That's a highly technical term, hooky hook. There's some beach living over there. And looks like Corolla, North Carolina. Probably have to have a Toyota to live there. First flight traffic says November 41316, approximately 4 miles north, inbound runway 3 to land, first flight traffic. At least the weather was good for this flight today. Alright, start our right turn. Beautiful but cold. Like I say, it's right around freezing up there right now. And the winds are pretty heavy. But that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, when I got up this morning it was 31 and then it dropped down to 28 and we're up to 49 now, but there's rumors that we're going to see flurries tomorrow. I mean, they're saying snow, but this is Texas, so that means it might flurry a little bit. We don't get real snow, which makes me very happy. Four decades of real snow was plenty for me. I don't need it anymore. Yesterday I was flying, it was, I think when I landed it was -16 Celsius, so that's what, about 10 degrees Fahrenheit? All the planes have Celsius for some reason. They don't do freedom units. It's too bad North Carolina has state income tax. That's a place I could probably live. I always figured it out. There's only 2 states left that I could move to out of Texas, which would be either Tennessee or Florida. All the other ones without income tax are too cold. New Hampshire, Washington, and there's another one, I can't remember what it is. I think there's 7 total. Tennessee I could live in though. I love the area. Nick lives in Knoxville area. It's very nice out there. Could definitely do that. Washington is pretty. Montana would be another choice, except it's too cold. Way too cold. And I think they have state income tax. Yeah, that's what I said. It's too cold. Tennessee only gets a little bit of snow. I could live with that. Or Florida. And Florida would have to be the west coast, I think, either like Fort Myers or the Tampa area. Only problem with Florida is hurricanes, but the other thing would be another part of Texas. Like, I love the Texas coast, the southern part, like down by South Padre or Corpus or down in that area. I could do that. Oh, they have football games in Tampa? I wouldn't have known. I visited Big Bend. I couldn't live there. Big Bend is way too remote for me. Plus, if I'm going to move again, it's either going to be to mountains or beach. First flight traffic says on November 41316. 14 miles north, inbound RNAV runway 3. First flight traffic. I might have to change runway choices when we get close. Looks like the wind has shifted. We'll wait till we're down there near the airport and make the decision. That is a graphics glitch. That line you see in the water right there. It's probably where they had to stitch two sets of satellite data together. You see the marks on the window? I think that's so cool. It shows like the scuffs and things on the window and dirt. Yeah, do not touch screens. They're not touch. It's to indicate that they're not touch screens. The controls are not designed for you to tap the screen to do things. You use the dials and buttons instead. Some planes have touch screen panels. This one does not. So they put a sticker on there that says don't do it. Oh, I'm below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I should probably have my pitot heat on. Got 286 hours on this bird since I started flying it. So your brother does ATC, or well, works at the ATC school. Does he fly? Or does he not fly? Oh, okay. So he was a ghost pilot. That's a pilot who flies non-corporeal and undead, for those of you who are wondering. IT would seem like a demotion from any other position in an organization. So we're not going to fly this full pattern, and we don't have to. We're not on any kind of controlled flight here. Wind is currently... Yeah, no, wind is currently favorable for that runway, so we'll be good for runway 3. When we get a little closer, we'll swing over and make our approach. Yeah, I learned yesterday in a company meeting with everybody there that my job is no longer what I was hired for. I was hired as a network engineer, and now somebody else apparently is our network's design engineer, and I'm in charge of documentation and internal IT. And by in charge of, I mean that's what I do. I'm not in charge of anything really. But I learned this in a meeting with the entire company, rather than, being told it on my own. A little annoying, but such is life. It's not a big deal. I like what I do overall, and I like the people I work with, so just sometimes the community. Hey, there's a little bit of a rainbow over there on the left. You see that? A little bit of a rainbow there. Yeah, it's very faint. Very, very faint. Oh. First flight traffic. November 41316. 10 miles to the west, inbound visual runway 3 to land. First flight traffic. And again, as a reminder to those who might still be watching, first flight is at the location of where the original Wright brothers flight occurred. Kill Devil, I believe it's called Kill Devil Hill or something like that. Also known as Kitty Hawk. (1903). I believe it was December 17th of 1903. First powered flight. Oh man. Kind of cool. I think. I don't know if in the sim there's any kind of, or even I think in real life there's some sort of statue or something there. I don't know if the sim represents it. I'm assuming not, since it's not mentioned in any documentation, but I guess we'll find out. I'm going to start preparing for my bank over that way now. Very gentle bank to the left. Bring the engines back some. Trim up the nose. Goal being to bleed off some airspeed for this approach. I see the runway. First flight traffic November 41316. Turning base, runway 3 to land, first flight traffic. Like you actually piloted, Jen? Nice. Like I say, the only place I've piloted was in Plymouth, Mass. I flew over Plymouth, Mass from the Plymouth airport. It was a rough day in the air. We seem to have lost sight of the runway here. But I know where it should be, so... yeah, I think that's it. Yep. First flight traffic, November, says no, November 41316 on final to land, runway 3. First flight traffic. I expected it to be a little bigger of a runway than that. That still counts, Jen. Were you left or right seat? I'm assuming you were right seat, co-pilot seat. Getting a little bit of turbulence as we come in. 500 feet. Flaps 1. Or flaps 10, I think is the actual. Engines at idle. Flaps 20. I'm going to bring the nose down and then flare it up at the end there. Flaps 30, flare. We're going to come in a little hotter than I wanted to. Easy, easy. Float, float, float. And touchdown. Oh, 6 feet per minute. That's beautiful. All right, flaps up. See, I'm hauling junk mail today. So when I did my little lesson, I got to take off. I did some of the flying around, and then when it came time to land, I let him take it because I was feeling ill at that point. Which sucks because I would have really liked to have landed. The instructor was pretty cool. We went through all the pre-flights, and of course he's explaining what he's asking me if I know what instruments I'm looking at, and I did because of flying simulators for so long. So it was kind of fun for him to be, oh, you already know this and you already know that. I think that off to the left there was the actual hill. Yeah, that's the actual hill where the Wright brothers flew. I learned to fly long before the game gave tips. I learned it on my own. No, I've never been here in person. But I did a little bit of homework. Did some maps and such. Whoops, sorry. I was looking at another screen. Yep, there's the monument. Look at that. First flight monument right up there. That is cool. Alright, let's swing around and park. I'm tempted to taxi right up there. Let me unload the mail first. Okay, junk mail is offloaded. Flight plan is closed. Alright, Twitch stream people, we're going to break some laws here. We're going to taxi up that hill and go take a look at that. Don't tell the FAA, I don't want to lose my license. I don't have this power. I can't get up there. Huh. How about that, huh? And if there's ever a good place to end a stream, this is it. So, thanks for joining us. This is it's the end of the road, I think. It's not letting me, Alright. Thanks for joining. This is the end of the stream. We'll catch you all.